Hey kids, how about a little extra
Oopsie. Go ahead.
It's okay, Tony. It happens to a lot of guys. Hey kids, how about a little extra magic hour?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Extra Magic Hour podcast with your hosts, Tony Casanova and Parkhopper John.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Extra Magic Hour show.
Mm-hmm.
The Extra Magic Hour we do just for you guys because we appreciate you supporting us. This is the Patreon show just for our Patreons because you're awesome. Galaxy's Edge, over under. What are your thoughts? 0 to 10, 10 being amazing.
I'm gonna say 7. It needs another attraction.
I'm going to say 6 because it needs 2 or 3 more attractions. It's not ain't big enough.
Yeah.
Not enough.
Yeah. Yeah. They seem to be making. All right. So if you look at, like, say, Fantasyland or even Tomorrowland or anything in the Magic Kingdom and compare it to the lands in the studio, it's like this fits like inside the bathroom inside Tomorrowland. You know?
Yeah. And that's a trend that Disney's been doing that I really can't stand.
Yeah, I'm not digging it either.
I don't understand the thought behind it. I keep hearing that there's rumors of, well, we're going to expand in the future. Well, okay,
To where?
great. Yeah. You,
You jammed a hotel right next to the back end of this thing.
they could build it around the hotel because the hotel is going to be
Uh,
all-encompassing.
I'm sure they could, but there is a major highway they'd have to move as well.
No, they won't be doing that.
No,
That's
no.
just crazy.
Yeah.
I tell you what they need to do. Honestly, they need to just go ahead and, God forbid, and I'm going to say this is going to piss a lot of people off, and I don't mean it personally. They need to just go ahead and swallow up Muppet Courtyard and be done with
Yes,
it.
sure. My opinion is it's going. They just haven't done it yet
Right.
because there's really nothing said about Star Tours yet. So I feel that whole area is going to go.
Yeah.
It's going to go. I even think, unfortunately, the little bar, with the craft beers is going to go too.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's all going to be sucked in.
But until then, we're going to have a great time going and hanging around and having a cocktail because, there's no opportunities for us to get on the ride. Speaking of,
Hold on. I forgot to mention, I made a reservation for us at Oga's Cantina. Have you been to Oga's Cantina? No? When do you think the closest or first available date I could find was?
February of 2020.
How about March?
Oh my God, really?
Right at the edge of the 180 days, I was able to get us
Wow.
a 5 p.m. reservation at Oga's Cantina.
Now, are we to a point now where we could just walk in the land, or do we still have to have reservations?
Depends on the day. So if you open up the app and it says you need a boarding pass, then you need a boarding pass. But I haven't seen that since opening day. So
Huh.
I'm going to say no.
Wow.
I'm going to say no. Yeah.
And maybe when they build that second open up that
I
second
think so.
attraction,
I
I'll
think
change.
it'll all change here
Yeah.
and at Disneyland. It'll all be different. The whole
I
the playing field can be completely different because then people will be like, oh, all right, now I can go. Now you got the two things up and running. Now it's worth my time and my money.
right.
And maybe some people were waiting for the hotel even here. I don't know.
Oh my God. Yeah, keep waiting, kids. It's going to be a little bit.
2020. You got a long wait, right? Is that what Chapek said?
Really? I thought
2020
it
or
was-
2021?
I thought it was 2021. I could be wrong.
We'll have to go look again.
Look, there's not going to be a lot of sexiness on the outside of that hotel.
Mm.
So
gonna
they're
be a
building all
box.
this. It's going to be technology on the inside.
Yeah.
That's the part that if it's taking this long to get Rise of the
Resistance.
Resistance open,
Mm.
that is high technology.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then they're going to need that because this resort's going to be nothing but tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason I bring that up is,
He's like,
everybody
stay in your rooms. We have to reboot the hotel, please.
That's right. That's right. You're not able to leave your hotel room because you are locked in because the computer needs to be rebooted. Should this go longer than 12 hours, food and water will be delivered to you by boring a hole through your door. Anyway.
We're running Windows 95. It should be okay.
No, man. They're up to Vista. They're on Vista now.
XP, maybe?
XP. Oh, my God. So while you're waiting to board the Millennium Falcon, or maybe get that big Rondo roaster, or maybe you're just trying to find a spot to get into Oga's Cantina, you want to go do something in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So we've got a list of all the things that you could do when it's crowded at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So Galaxy's Edge opened at Hollywood Studios, and needless to say, it was incredibly exciting for a few hours.
Sure.
And, of course, it was also very crowded for a few hours. Keeping that in mind, it's a brand new land at Walt Disney World. Lots of places to go explore, a lot of things really crammed into a small amount of space. And if you're coming to visit Batuu in the foreseeable future, you might experience heavier than normal crowds. So we wanted to come up with some ideas of some things that you could do after you've ridden your one time on the Millennium Falcon, or you don't want to wait for 2 hours. There's got to be other things to do, right?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Yes.
There are. Why don't you start us out?
Yep. So the first thing you want to do is go download the Disney Play app. And I know that sounds stupid and weird because you already have the My Disney Experience app, but now you're going to need this Disney Play app because there's a whole new world within this app. So bring your smartphone because this will become your data pad. And then before you visit the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, make sure you get that download. Get it running, get it set up, and then when you open the app while you're in Black Spire Outpost, the app will recognize your location. You're going to have to give it location permissions, obviously, and then it will invite you to begin using your datapad. So the datapad feature in the app looks different than the normal Play app. It completely changes based on your location. So depending on your location within Galaxy's Edge, the app will offer you different ways to interact with the land around you. So you can translate signs from Arabic into English. You can hack doors and panels and droids. So you're gonna have to go find these. It's not gonna say go over to this door. You're gonna have to figure out which ones you can hack, which ones you can't hack. You can earn achievements. You can get help from the Resistance. You can either help the Resistance or you can help the First Order, or both. You can take control of your Black Spire Outpost, and then while waiting in line for the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, you can complete spy training with Hondo, and then how well you and your fellow smugglers do on the attraction impacts your datapad credit total. So if you're on there with a bunch of crappy flyers, you're not gonna
like I was the first time I ever rode it and crashed every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I was on with an older couple too, and I think we hit everything that could possibly be hit.
Were you on with me? Did you ride with me?
When we were on the VIP tour, yes, yeah.
That was the best ride.
Yeah, that was a pretty good ride.
People who game and understand the concept of not hitting everything.
Yeah, right. You can also utilize the datapad in a fun way to interact with elements throughout Batuu. By completing a maze or puzzle, you can make the moisture vaporator just outside of the market power down. You can make droids outside the droid depot whirl and beep. You can make lights on doors and access panels throughout the land blink.
Ooh.
The datapad activities are a wonderful way to spend time waiting in Smuggler's Run, or if you can't or don't want to write it, you can do that too. The datapad activities can be shared between the members of your traveling party if you have between 1 to 4 people with you. And this is for people of all ages. They don't have to be, just kiddies. Keep in mind that the datapad function is a battery sucker.
Yes.
It will suck the life out of your battery. So make sure that you bring an extended portable charger, like your fuel rod if you have that.
Yeah.
I went out, I bought one.
Fuel rod?
Yeah, I just carry it into parks, and when I leave, I usually just exchange it for the hell of it, just to make somebody do some work.
You just buy one, and then forever you're just flipping out.
Yeah. You buy one. It comes with a couple different, things for depending on what phone you own. USB or C or whatever minis.
Right.
And then you just go to any one of the chargers. You say swap. You drop in yours, and out comes a fully charged one.
Nice.
That's it. Yeah. So
I don't remember seeing any of those near Star Wars.
There's only 2 in the studios right now. One is all the way back on Hollywood Boulevard in the 5 and 10.
Oh my
God. I think the other one is all the way at the end of like Sunset or something. They're not conveniently close to Star Wars or Toy Story Land where everybody is.
That'd be way too convenient.
Yeah, they need a couple more in that park.
No, that would be way too convenient.
The Magic Kingdom's got a ton of them. There's like one in every land. So.
Yeah. Like I said, that'd be way too convenient. Next up, and it's something that we talk about here on the show continuously, is just slow down and look around.
Yeah.
Like the old Yes song. Look up, look down, look around. Anyway, it's old rock and rollers. When the crowds are at their highest, you really have to take things a bit more slowly because really you can't walk anywhere fast.
No.
That can be very frustrating, but it can also help you to really focus in on what you're looking at. You can see things you might have missed. When you slow down, it gives you a chance to notice little things that perhaps you might not have noticed before. And Disney has done a great job of putting little hidden things in, like the little fun activities with the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I had some time in Galaxy's Edge where I was waiting for some people to finish their ride on the Millennium Falcon, so I got to walk around by myself and just there's so much detail. There's an incredible amount of stuff to look at.
I did get confirmation from the master, Steve. There are hidden Mickeys in Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because there was an article that said there weren't any because there wouldn't be any on this planet. But
what?
Yeah, Steve is saying yes, there are some hidden Mickeys.
Wow, crazy is that?
Go find them.
As you know, the Disney Imagineers like to put details that honor former attractions that were previously housed in the land on the new lands that they build. A large portion of the land in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge now sits on at Hollywood Studios was previously used as the Streets of America. So stop and take a look around, and you might just see a dedication that honors an attraction or two that was once in the land. There are also ways that the Imagineers paid homage to the Star Wars films themselves. Look up at the ship that is landing on Docking Bay 7. You might see 3 numbers that tie to the original Star Wars trilogy. There are unique items everywhere you turn in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and higher crowds actually might give you the opportunity to stop, check it out, and really soak up those details. I had some people that were pointing out things to me when we went with a big group a couple weeks ago. That as a Star Wars fan I should have known.
Right.
But there's some really cool things there. So go check it out. And if you're a fan of the animated series, any of them, there's little things in there as well.
Yeah.
So go look around. Explore.
Yeah, I think we talked about the LMA on here. Lights Motor Action.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice nugget.
Yeah, I wonder if they did anything for like the backstage tour, because this also sits on partial, or is it Toy Story would be on that?
I think Toy Story would be where Catastrophe Canyon.
Yeah, probably. Somebody have to overlay an old map on top of this map so we
Oh
can
my
figure,
gosh, that'd be awesome.
so we
We
can
should
figure
totally
out
do
what's on top of who. No, I'm on top. No, you're on top. Hey, the last thing you can do there is eat and drink. There's always plenty of food and drink options in most of these places. First, you grab a bite that's out of this world. And I know that may seem like a no-brainer, but you've looked at the menus from the eating establishments in Star Wars Galaxy and felt nervous when you looked at them, which I did. Let me assure you that some of these offerings are familiar things you might eat all the time, just not necessarily in a theme park. So, on a crowded day, you can go into Docking Bay 7, which I did when we were there, and chilled out.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. It is one of the only air-conditioned... It is the only air-conditioned eatery. So if you're looking for eat and air, this is it. Otherwise, you're going to have to leave and go to one of the other non-air-conditioned places in Hollywood Studios. The braised shank roast is a recommended item. It's also an amazing little tender piece of pot roast with cavatelli pasta, mushroom, and wilted kale. Granted, at $18.99, it's a little bit more expensive than most of your counter service meals.
Wow.
I had the chicken, and I don't know how they made the chicken square. Maybe I don't want to know how they made the chicken square.
Like, they put it in a mold in the press, man. It's not that big a deal. Were there bones in it?
All right. No, there were not bones in it, thankfully.
Yeah, it's chicken breast and put it in a thing and cook it up.
Yeah. And I will say my chicken breast, there was a sauce on the bottom that was a little on the spice side, and you can tell them to put that on the side, which I did the second time I was there. While you're there, have some dessert. The Batu Bon is a combination of chocolate cake and chocolate mousse and a coffee custard.
Nice.
And then we'll encourage you to take a closer look on the busy day for food offerings that have been created for the New World. There's plenty of things there. There's Ronto Roasters. It's got, what would you call that? Sausages?
Yeah, I mean, it's like sausage wrapped in sausage wrapped in sausage. And it's great. I've tried it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a meat sandwich.
Yeah. I didn't have it yet. I got to go back. Did you have any of the milk, the blue milk, green milk?
I did.
And?
I had blue milk. My wife had the green milk.
Mm-hmm.
We tried both milk. Now, we did have the version with the rum or the tequila in it. I did not care for the milk. I don't like coconut water.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind coconut milk, like like a pina colada, but this was not. It was thicker than I really wanted it to be, and it was super hot. So just like you take a drink, you're like,
yeah.
It just coated your tongue in a way that wasn't pleasant to me.
Right.
I also tried the popcorn. Did you try the popcorn?
I did not try the popcorn. No. I heard it was spicy.
Popcorn's a crazy thing, man. Some of it was really, really good. It's a little bit more on the sweet side. But then you would get those ones that were the spicy.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't just a little spicy. They were spicy.
Mm.
Like, I took a bite of, like a few kernels and threw them in, was chewing, and like I'm immediately grabbing at my wife's water, and I think I need that because I couldn't breathe. It was too much for me.
Right.
But
yeah.
My experience with Ronto Roasters was good.
Mm.
The thing that I think is hilarious is I don't remember seeing that many alcoholic beverages. I wasn't looking for them. I'm not saying they're not there. And I know that you could probably get like a beer or something in the sit down restaurant. I didn't notice a lot of alcohol in that area.
No.
Because I guess they're keeping all that inside of Oga's Cantina.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in Oga's, so I don't know.
Yeah. Didn't our friend say that he got a beer flight with a souvenir cups and it was something like $85?
Something like that.
Hey, here's a beer flight for $85, and you can take it home with you. So let me ask you this. So what would be the one thing you think they should add right now to Galaxy's Edge, besides the second attraction?
Original characters.
Mm.
I get it. There's a financial component to this, but
Mm-hmm.
I think having Luke and Leia,
Mm-hmm.
Han Solo,
Mm-hmm.
C-3PO,
Mm-hmm.
Lando Calrissian.
Right.
I think that would probably be one of the first things that I would add, because there's no, I mean, I know they're paying, and even the way they wrote it is there's an homage to the original series.
Mm.
Well, don't pay homage to it.
Bring it.
Just bring it.
Yeah.
You know, you've got an X-wing fighter there, and I get it. You know, I can't remember what his character's name. Who's the new X-wing super dude in the new Star Wars?
Oh yeah.
The
The guy with the black hair. I can't think of his name.
Yeah,
I could see
yeah,
him.
his name's escaping me right now because I'm a moron. But uh, I, X-wing fighters are synonymous with Luke.
Right.
You know, when you go to Doc Ondar's,
Mm-hmm.
it's great because they had the hammerhead guy there. Doc Ondar is one of the things with the head comes up and out, and the eyes are on the side, and mouth is on the side. That's amazing. And then you look up, and then there's one of the snow creatures from Empire Strikes Back. That was awesome.
Right.
There's a Sarlacc. There's all these things that touch back to the original series, but they don't have any of the original characters there.
Yeah.
I think they need to go back to do some of the things like they did during Star Wars weekends.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Have more of the not current trilogy characters.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Yeah, there's two things I think they need to add. One is, I'm going to go with your thing about characters, is more entertainment. I know the characters are kind of spontaneous. They're not, staying here, line up, get your picture taken. I think there's a couple places that they are doing entertainment. I just haven't seen it. I don't know if it's been too damn hot for them to do anything. If I was Kylo, I would not want to suit up in something black and stand on the stage for 30 minutes without dying of heat exhaustion. So I think they need a little bit more entertainment to keep people occupied. I think people want that entertainment factor. They're going to, that would give them more of an experience. If Kylo was doing something or Rey was doing something, I think it would give them more of that experience. They're not sucking you into the experience. The other thing I would add, probably on my way to Toy Story, probably on the left-hand side, is a sit-down restaurant. Not a quick service, but a sit-down restaurant. I think it could use that, and it would also help Toy Story Land, because it does not have a sit-down restaurant either, yet. It's getting one, but there's not one yet. So that's what I think, too, because I think people will stay longer in the experience if they can eat there as well. And I'm not saying the quick service is bad. I'm just saying I think that would make more people stay longer.
Yeah, and talking about the area as a whole, there's one big glaring problem that Hollywood Studios has, and even Disneyland has it to a point, is you want to go to Galaxy's Edge, you're going over here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go to Star Tours, you have to go up here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go to Launch Bay and meet BB-8 and Kylo Ren, you got to go over here.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that. That all should be in one area.
Right.
Well, they didn't build it that way. I know they didn't build it that way, but you spent $1 billion on it. Why don't you build it that way?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that it's tough. But I get it. If you want to go to Hollywood Studios, this is the part that frustrates me. Hollywood Studios is becoming the Star Wars park.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's Toy Story stuff,
but
it's the Star Wars park.
Right.
They should have just went ahead and made the whole thing Star Wars.
Yeah. It's it's becoming California Adventure. It doesn't know what it wants. It's not a studio anymore. Yeah. It's not just one thing. They've thrown a hodgepodge of things in there now. So they're duplicating the hodgepodge of California Adventure now at the studios.
Yeah, and they'll have the same problem.
The theme of the park is gone.
Yeah. Right, and they'll have the same problem there that they had at California Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't
know what it wants to be when it grows up.
Disneyland knows exactly what it wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
Even the Magic Kingdom knows what it wants to be.
Right.
Epcot's getting to the point where it knows what
Yeah.
it wants to be, and Animal Kingdom knows exactly what it wants to be,
Right.
except for Pandora.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Pandora makes no sense in Epcot
Right.
or Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. And the other thing I've noticed that they duplicated from Toy Story Land, which I don't know. I guess it's the new trend. None of the attractions dump into a merch shop.
Yeah,
Nothing at Toy Story Land does. Nothing at Galaxy's Edge will, or is, or will be. So maybe they're assuming that people will go find the merch. Now, who is it? The Hollywood Clothiers. So the left-hand side of Hollywood Boulevard
right.
reopened. Not the close end, but the far end is all Star Wars merchandise. Now, why did you build that all the way over there?
Yeah, why did we need more Star Wars merch?
In the beginning of the park, why didn't you put it in the Star Wars land?
Right.
Or Launch Bay, you have a whole place over there. That's so it's very confusing. Very confusing.
So you got Launch Bay, you've got Star Tours that empties out into a gift shop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got all these disparate things that are around, and there's nothing cohesive tied together.
Yeah.
Versus, and again, I don't say this because I want to get rid of Muppets, but if you took out the entire Muppets courtyard and shifted the park a little bit, shifted Star Wars Land a little bit to where that whole thing was encompassing, and then shut down the stinking launching bay. You know, build another launching bay type thing, different.
Yeah. Rizzo's hasn't been open in months. You know, every time I go there, Rizzo's is closed. Why do you even have the building?
Right.
Why didn't you just leave it Pizza Planet?
Right.
People went in there when it was Pizza Planet. You know, so who wants food from a rat?
Well, we do go to Disney. It's a mouse. It's not that far off.
A mouse, a rat.
We could sit and talk for hours on trying to fix Disney, but anyway, let us know what you guys like to do when you can't get onto the Millennium Falcon. And I know it's only been a few weeks,
right?
But what do you guys who are in the West Coast? What are some things that you like to do over there? Obviously, they're starting to figure some stuff out and have some more fun with it.
Yeah.
So let us know. Drop us an email at DisneyParksPodcast@gmail.com, or you can just simply drop a comment into the show. Again, this is the Extra Magic Hour show just for you guys. This is content that we put out because you support us here on Patreon. We appreciate you guys so very much. Tony, is there anything else you want to add?
No.
All right, guys. Like we always say, if we don't see you online, may the force be with you, and we will see you in the parks.
The Disney Parks Podcast is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company. All Disney parks, attractions, lands, shows, event names, etc. are registered trademarks of the Walt Disney Company.